Good evening, everyone. Thank you for letting me talk to you. I did have a nice little speech written, but from what I've seen here and what I've heard tonight, that's gone out the window. I'm just going to talk to you the way it was spoken to me, and I hope you'll feel as deeply moved as I will. I'm only little. Thank you. Through Unison, I became involved with the European Forum of Left Feminists. And I went to a meeting, and at the meeting, they were exploring different women's attitudes and biases and prejudices. We were all asked to give ours. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I was sitting at a table with 3 Muslim women. And it took a lot of courage to admit that I was prejudiced against Muslims and was asked to explain why. And I said, well, everywhere you go, where there's Muslims, you will find fighting. And what about the way they treat the women? And these women were agreeing with me. I couldn't understand why. I said, you're supposed to be arguing. And they said, no, you're talking about the fundamentalists. They encouraged me into their group. And it was heartbreaking, some of the stories that were told. The stoning to death. And I was shown many films of women being stoned to death on reports from the religious police. And in the different number of films that I saw, there were rings round these ones, and it was the same faces, same members of the religious police. Maybe their family had offended someone. I don't know what had happened, but it was horrific. And how can you bring a child into the world, take that child into your arms, promise that you'll give the child a good life, a good education, try and make a better world than you had, only to find that they're put under death threat because they're not wearing the burqa or the veil? Where do we go in this world when these things happen? How can you then walk along the street and be taken by the religious police into the cells, and your husband called and be told, divorce her, she's a loose woman, she's an adulteress? But it was those men that took the woman into the cells. It was those men that raped that woman. It was those men that made that accusation. And why should women be garbed this way? It's not the women that are doing the raping. No disrespect to any brothers here. But, you know, it's the punishment's the wrong way round, surely. When children are encouraged to split on their parents because the woman hasn't worn the traditional dress when a man who's not a relative comes into the house, is this justice? Is it fair? We think we've got it hard over here. It's 100 years since equal pay was first brought up into the forefront of women's issues. It's 80 years since the suffragettes. It's 1960s. We still weren't able to have HP in our own right unless we got a responsible male to sign for us. We are now once again fighting for equal pay. But when you find out what the Muslim women actually go through, and in the name of a religion, you know, it pales into insignificance, doesn't it? And where do we go with our children? What are we teaching the children? Why are us workers allowing this to happen? Not only in foreign countries, but here and now, in so-called Great Britain. What's great about it? What's great when a woman isn't free to dress? I mean, there are standards, you do not offend moral decency. But it's the woman's right to choose all over again, isn't it? And I'd like to see anyone stand up and defy any of us women the right to choose what we wear, when we wear it, and who we wear it in front of. There are standards, yes, we all conform to standards, but they are not imposed on us in the way that this is. These women were going backwards and forwards to Iran, bringing children out, bringing some of their wounded souls out. We had a woman come and talk to us that had arrived from Iran that morning. She was a tank commando, tiny little woman, but she had the heart of a lion. It doesn't matter how big she was. She stood up for her rights. And that's what I'm asking everyone in this hall to do tonight. You have sisters, you have children. Stand up for their rights. Don't let them be oppressed any more than they have done already. Say, sexual apartheid stops here. No more honour killings. No more female genital mutilation. If you don't want to wear the veil, don't have to wear it. Somebody has got to stop this going on. Sexual apartheid is as wrong as racial apartheid. Why should you be discriminated because of your sexuality? Does any of us choose what we are and what path we're going to follow? But tonight you've got a choice. It's up to each and every one of us to sign the declaration, to stand up for those that can't stand up for themselves, and help us stop the sexual apartheid. Thank you very much.